Smell that?
It does stink. It smells like wet dog.
Yeah. I think I just stepped into something here.
Mireya had no time to think. She was surrounded by four massive creatures, Bigfoot-like beings, towering in the darkness.
It looks like... Oh my God.
What?
Whatever that is, it is walking across the forest.
Their presence overwhelming and undeniable. The team, heart pounding and eyes wide, realized they weren't alone in the forest. As the creatures circled closer, a deafening silence hung in the air, broken only by the crackling of twigs under enormous feet. Tune in, because what happens next will change everything for Mireya's wildest dreams. Chasing the strange Bigfoot legend in dark woods. The most challenging aspect of their journey was the complete darkness that enveloped them, allowing visibility of only a few inches ahead. The air carried a damp scent, reminiscent of wet fur, and the ground underfoot sometimes squished unpleasantly, suggesting they had stepped into something undesirable. Deep within the shadowy woods, the team, known as Expedition Bigfoot, was on a quest to find one of the rarest creatures believed to roam these parts. As they ventured further into the forest, the intensity of their search increased. This was not just another trek. They were possibly on the brink of encountering the legendary creature, a mythical being rumored to dwell within these very woods. Suddenly, a deafening roar pierced the darkness, stopping them cold.
He decided not to attack. I think it dropped into the kudzu and headed up on the ridge.
I gotta let Bryce know about this. Nothing else is moving tonight. I know we're on the right path.
Something was watching, and what came next would change everything. The realization dawned on her and the team that they were not alone in this secluded wilderness. The presence of Bigfoot felt almost tangible, heightening the sense of adventure and mystery that surrounded their expedition. As they remained motionless, a sudden realization swept over the group. Although they had ventured into the unknown in search of Bigfoot, they had not anticipated an ambush. A soft grunt echoed nearby, stirring a whisper among them. For centuries, tales of a giant, hairy creature have been woven into the fabric of North American folklore, particularly within the United States. These stories have fueled countless expeditions into the wilderness by those eager to uncover the truth behind this elusive, human-like entity. The evidence, however, remains scant, limited to a handful of blurry photographs and ambiguous videos that revealed little. Long before the advent of modern technology, both Native Americans and early European settlers had already been chronicling encounters with this enigmatic creature.
It didn't make sense. However, a lot of the testimonies I've heard, and a lot of researchers would tell you that they've heard stories of white lights and Bigfoot.
Adding layers of mystery and intrigue to the legend that continues to captivate the imagination of many. Today, even with this thin evidence, people like Russell Accord, Dr. Ronnie LeBlanc, and Bryce Johnson are still dedicated to finding the truth about this giant creature. They are part of Expedition Bigfoot, and they are determined to prove that Bigfoot is real. This determination is what brought them and us into these eerie woods at night, with advanced thermal imaging gear to spot anything warm that could be Bigfoot or something else hiding in the dark. Moments such as these rendered all the waiting and efforts worthwhile. They were poised on the brink of potentially verifying their long-held suspicions. Standing together, their hearts raced with anticipation, suggesting they might be on the verge of a significant breakthrough. However, in the realm of cryptozoology, where they searched for creatures of lore and legend, certainty remained elusive until one could actually witness such phenomena firsthand. The possibility of coming face-to-face with Bigfoot heightened their excitement, yet they knew only a direct encounter could confirm the reality of their quest. At first, using their binoculars, they thought the shape in the distance was just a bull. But as night went on, deer and elk began to quietly come out of the shadows to graze in the meadows. On another hill, a few elk could be seen wandering around. The group decided to move closer for a better view. The hills were full of life, which was not surprising for such a wild and untouched area. This was a place where night creatures thrived, enjoying the peace and quiet of their surroundings. But the group wasn't just here for the usual wildlife. They were on a mission to find Bigfoot. They knew they needed to stay focused, as any distraction could mean missing something important. As they adjusted their cameras and sharpened their focus, the creature's movements sparked curiosity about its identity.
I just got something from Bryce, and he's uploaded a perceived Bigfoot howl from this local region or this local area. So it's great that I actually get a sound from this environment and this area that I can actually play and hopefully prompt a response.
It wasn't merely walking, its movements were purposeful, almost as if it was stalking prey. This behavior was unlike that of a bear, suggesting something different, perhaps more calculated in its approach. The tension among the team began to mount as they observed these deliberate motions. Even the nearby elk appeared to sense the unusual presence, adding to the growing unease within the group. This heightened alertness spread, amplifying their anticipation and concern as they continued to watch the mysterious creature navigate through the forest. The team worked quickly to gather more information while they had the chance. They zoomed in further and kept talking among themselves. The creature was large like a bear, but its actions didn't match typical bear behavior. Meanwhile, the elk and deer were on edge, as if they could sense the presence of danger nearby, even without the technology the humans had. Just as the team was intently observing the unfolding scene, the mysterious figure vanished without a trace. Questions surged about its sudden disappearance, stirring worry within the group. The atmosphere quickly grew dense with tension, sparking fears about whether the creature had noticed them and if it was now possibly hunting them. These were frightening considerations, yet it was crucial for them to maintain their composure. After several minutes of fruitless searching, they concluded that the creature might have retreated back into the depths of the forest, merging seamlessly with the shadows. This realization prompted them to proceed with their expedition, now with heightened vigilance. Aware that the forest concealed many secrets yet to be uncovered, their senses were sharpened, ready for whatever mysteries lay ahead. Every so often, in the quiet of the forest, one might feel a sense of being watched. Perhaps something truly unknown lurks out there. Something shifted in the dark. They weren't done yet, and the next step could change everything. The team's latest attempt to uncover Bigfoot. The creature quickly backed away when it realized that the deer it had been quietly following in the thick forest might have noticed it. The Expedition Bigfoot team thought that the creature had decided to go down a nearby slope instead of chasing the deer. They felt it was important to tell Bryce about this, especially since nothing else really happened that night. This strengthened their belief that they were on the right path. To keep everyone in the loop, the group decided to share what happened with Bryce, hoping he might have some helpful advice the next morning. After making this decision, the team noticed a drop in Bigfoot-related activity, but earlier, a sudden howl had drawn the creature out. Bryce soon messaged them with excitement, letting them know he had recorded a strange howl from the area. Now they had this unusual sound, which they hoped might help them get a reaction from Bigfoot. The year before, the team had played a loud Bigfoot howl in the area using a powerful speaker system, which led to a surprising response from an unknown animal in the woods. That moment left the team both amazed and excited. Now, armed with this new sound, the team was eager to see if playing it again would get a similar or even bigger reaction. Their plan was for Russell to broadcast the howl from a ridge while they listened for any responses. But they were also careful, knowing that they could accidentally send out a distress signal or provoke an animal without fully understanding the consequences. This unknown factor added even more excitement to their mission in the Oregon woods, where they hoped to draw out what they believed to be Bigfoot using the intriguing sound they had recorded. The pursuit of something new invariably stirs a blend of excitement and uncertainty. This was precisely the case for the team on their quest to find Bigfoot. They were fueled by the thrilling possibility of a significant discovery on the horizon. Yet they were equally cognizant of the risks that accompanied their expedition. Venturing into uncharted territories, they faced the unknown with a mix of anticipation and awareness of the potential challenges that could arise in their search for the elusive creature. Equipped with this sound, they're ready for whatever comes next. They started playing the sound, trying to follow the same path that the strange animal had taken the night before it disappeared.
Mireya and I heard something definitely moving in between our positions. So the first order of business is to go in and see what exactly was causing all of that noise.
It's common knowledge that primates use different sounds and calls to send messages to each other. For example, they have a special call to warn about danger, like when a predator is nearby. The team was hoping that by copying this sound, they could get closer to the animal and gather important data once they played the sound. Mayer and LeBlanc signaled to Russell that they were ready for the experiment. This was the sign Russell had been waiting for as he positioned himself high up on a cliff. From this spot, he could play the sound through the speakers while his teammates stayed below, listening for any reactions. The team was filled with excitement, eager to see what would happen after the broadcast. But even with their excitement, they knew there was a lot of uncertainty. No one could predict how the forest would respond, and they didn't even know how the animal would interpret the sound. It could see it as a warning or even a challenge. Still, they stayed hopeful about what the next few moments might bring. Maintaining hope often becomes essential when navigating through the unknown, especially when the next steps are uncertain. In their situation, the team had to rely on their well-laid plans and a strong sense of optimism. They trusted that their strategy would lead them through the dense forest and that the natural environment might eventually yield the answers they sought. This hope was their guide, pushing them forward as they delved deeper into the mysteries the forest held, each step taken with a blend of determination and anticipation for what they might discover. None of these animals would react aggressively when called. This makes people think of stories they've heard about Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Some explorers who went looking for this creature came back with stories of its hostile actions. They said Bigfoot not only ran toward humans but also threw stones at those who were curious about it. By the end of the day, it became clear that Bigfoot preferred to be left alone and didn't welcome strangers in its territory. People who go after such creatures are very brave. Even though many people don't take their work seriously, they are willing to face danger to prove their efforts matter. If they could find solid proof of Bigfoot's existence, they might be able to quiet those who doubt them.
I'm actually starting to feel dizzy. I'm starting to wonder if we're being somehow drawn to this area, being manipulated, and that would explain why we are so lost.
Ready to initiate their experiment, the team positioned themselves strategically throughout the area. The time for apprehensive waiting had passed. It was now the moment to actively engage in their plan to draw the creature from its concealment. Russell activated the large speakers, filling the stillness of the forest night with eerie howls. The initial response from the forest was typical. Crickets resumed their chirping, smaller animals rustled through the underbrush, and coyotes added their voices to the night's chorus. Despite these usual sounds, nothing out of the ordinary occurred after the first broadcast of the howl. Undeterred, Russell replayed the sound, carefully observing the natural reactions. With each iteration, he remained alert, hopeful for any sign that might indicate Bigfoot's presence. Yet each replay was met with the same natural responses, devoid of the evidence they sought. A strange quiet fell over the woods. Something was moving closer, and they knew this wasn't over. Bigfoot team surrounded in the night. The researchers prepared for another attempt to contact whatever lurked in the forest. This time, as the sound emitted from their speakers, a howl louder than before cut through the night, distinct from any natural forest sounds. The intensity of this howl sent shivers through the team. They were left to wonder what exactly their efforts had roused. The sound was unique, marked by a sharp, clear whistle that lingered in the air, unlike anything they had heard before. This unexpected response from the forest deepened the mystery of their nocturnal venture. The team felt a surge of unease when Russ clarified that he was not the one making the mysterious phone calls. He suggested that the calls might be coming from someone or something else in the night. This revelation intensified their apprehension, particularly as Russ also mentioned that he had been hearing strange noises all around. This was particularly surprising, given that Bryce had just mentioned not hearing anything while he was outside. It raised questions about whether Bryce might have simply missed the sounds of coyotes or other animals, adding another layer of mystery to their nocturnal experiences. Determining exactly what was unfolding proved difficult, but one fact was evident. The group found themselves in a precarious position. They remained vigilant, scrutinizing the shadows intently, eager to spot any hidden movements in the darkness. Despite the aid of their flashlights, the dense foliage and profound darkness severely limited their visibility. There was an underlying hope among them that whatever might be lurking out there was not a threat to their safety. Although tension filled the air, the group managed to pinpoint the direction of the noise. With gathered courage, they decided to move closer to the source. Sounds of something falling or being thrown were heard nearby, prompting them to advance rather than retreat. Driven by a mix of curiosity and resolve, they pressed on, eager to uncover the cause of the disturbances they were experiencing. But their efforts didn't pay off, as whatever it was seemed too quick and too clever to be found.
Both Mireya and I have been doing this for a very long time, and we don't easily get lost in the woods, but for some reason, we have gotten completely turned around. Not only that, I can't figure out why our GPS isn't working. And no matter which way we turn, we can't seem to find our way out of here.
Even though they lost sight of it, they still heard leaves rustling nearby, guiding them closer to the sound in hopes of a discovery. They guessed that the creature, whatever it was, might be circling back toward them. This felt like their last chance to see it up close, since they wanted proof of the legendary creature before they left the forest. But the creature was good at staying hidden, and as the group got more confused, they couldn't figure out where the noises were coming from. Now it seemed like the sounds were coming from every direction, making it harder to track. Amid all the confusion and scattered sounds, LeBlanc thought he saw a shadow flicker for just a moment, but when they tried to follow it, the sounds seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. This only made the group more frustrated, but also more curious as they pressed on through the dark forest, determined to uncover the mystery. He remained composed, realizing that what they initially thought they were tracking was now following them. The sounds they had heard earlier returned, indicating that whatever was making those noises was drawing nearer. The snapping of branches and distinct cracking sounds intensified as they grew louder. His observation confirmed that there were more creatures involved, not just one or two, but three. They seemed to be concealed around a specific cluster of trees, heightening the tension as the group considered their next move. If anyone in the group still had doubts, they quickly disappeared when they heard the clear sound of branches breaking and leaves moving in the exact spot he had pointed to. Both scared and excited, Russell admitted they had misunderstood the situation earlier. They were being followed by three creatures, not one or two, hiding in the dark forest. The group stood still, waiting to see what would happen next. Russell, sitting higher up, was alert and listening for any signs of trouble from his team. For the Bigfoot expedition team, this was a moment filled with tension and excitement. Many people are passionate about chasing mysteries. That's exactly what the team was doing, putting their safety on the line to prove the existence of Bigfoot.
It's much easier when you're following a river, but it had gotten dark and we had to cut up through the forest. And once we were in there, we became really disoriented. It was really difficult to make out exactly where we were.
They had faced years of being mocked by experts who dismissed their research and findings on this creature. Even though the evidence had always been weak, they remained determined. Just because no one credible had seen Bigfoot in a long time didn't mean it wasn't real. The Expedition Bigfoot team was hoping to come out of this with solid proof, something real to finally quiet all the skeptics. It was a risky situation, especially since Bigfoot's behavior around humans was unknown and possibly dangerous. But there was a chance they could capture groundbreaking photos or even find footprints to study. The world was watching closely as this team used the latest technology and research to track down Bigfoot. If they were lucky, their efforts might finally answer the age-old question about this mysterious creature. From exploring the darkest parts of the woods to facing a potentially dangerous situation, this was the moment when the team realized they were completely surrounded by the legendary creature. One might ponder what motivates a person to persevere despite significant risks. For the team, it was their steadfast belief in the existence of truth that propelled them forward. They were committed to uncovering it, regardless of the challenges or dangers they might face along the way. This conviction guided their every step as they ventured deeper into their quest, driven by the desire to reveal what lay hidden. Could Bigfoot really be out there, watching from the shadows? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mysterious adventures.